Dear friends of astrology, a warm welcome from the heart of Europe. We are currently facing a major shift from 200 years under the dominion of the element of Earth to a new forthcoming era dominated by the astrological element of air. You can name it as the transition from the capitalistic consumer society starting in the year 1800 with the Industrial Revolution to a new idealistic knowledge society. In the last video, I've already showed you how the morphologies can be compared to the developments from 800 years ago. And we've observed how this element shift from the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions has been fulfilled in the fields of art and architecture and in the fields of education and knowledge. If you missed that, please check out this fundamental video. Now we are going to observe some other very important fields, namely the fields of energy and technology, the field of economy, and the fields of our social behavior, of lifestyle and fashion. Yeah, so to forecast the future, we are going to observe the past. The past Earth age started around the year 1800 with the Industrial Revolution, the production of matter, the production of goods and of wares. It was a time when empiricism and when everything that can be possessed had a huge increase in our collective mentality, in our cultural mentality. And there was one major basis invention that drove forward Industrial Revolution, and this was the steam engine. So in a short period of time, the whole landscapes have been crowded by these huge chimneys that produced black smoke. All these engines, they have been very loud, they have been very dirty, they needed lots of matter, lots of material to put inside, to burn it, and with this immense destruction, with this immense amount of matter, energy was produced. So this is how energy and transportation and traffic worked like in the old Earth age. There was lots of smoke, it stinked, it was loud, it was dirty. Yeah, you can see it with all these car engines, with this huge pollution in the cities and so forth. And how will energy production, how will transport look like in the forthcoming air age? We already see these hybrid technologies nowadays. Yeah, it will become silent, it will become decent, it will get in the background, it will become invisible. We don't see it anymore, we don't smell it anymore, we don't hear it anymore, that energy is produced. Like for example with the solar panels. Yeah, this was kind of the first hybrid technology into the air age. Also with all these windcraft generators. But this is just the beginning, of course. Electricity, yeah, as the new way of energy, which is very silent, which is very decent. We see at the moment with this shift from the loud fuel engine cars to the new electric cars. But this is just the beginning. This is just the hybrid technology. In the next couple of decades, we will see completely new forms of energy productions. Maybe we will see something like an H2, a hydrogen engine for cars, for transport and so forth. We definitely will see completely unimaginable methods of energy production, something like maybe free energy that had been created by Nikola Tesla or investigated already 100 years ago. And one funny side fact, yeah, is the morphology. If we look back into the old Earth age with all these smoking black chimneys, we had the fashion of man wearing a cylinder, which is basically a miniature head in the shape of a chimney set on their heads. Yeah, and when we look back at the last air age into the 1300s, there was one grand invention, and this was the windmill. Yeah, the windmill that helped people for the first time to grind corn without the help of watercraft. And these windmills, they were invented in the 13th century. They were invented in the last air age, yeah, because it's of course the morphology of air. It's using air for energy production, and that nowadays we see all these wind generators standing, these wind wheels standing around in the landscape. It's a very funny coincidence, a very funny similarity in morphology between the last air age 800 years ago and the current air age. Yeah, what are the major shifts in economy? If we go back 800 years ago, there was one major trend in Europe, and this was urbanization. So people got into cities, the cities got bigger and bigger, because there was this speaking that city air is freedom. Yeah, people went into the cities to get more freedom, to get out of their very limited possibilities that they had in the villages, where they basically only could become, for example, a farmer most of all. But any kind of other jobs were difficult in the city. People have been much freer. Yeah, so urbanization really grew immensely. Then we had all these craft guilds that formed there, that organized new professions like the butcher and the fisher and the shoemaker, the snider, and so forth. We had the birth of all these trading places and fairs, yeah, where people met once a week, once a month, all at a huge place to exchange, to trade goods. So trade grew immensely. Even those trade associations, for example, in Europe, especially in Germany, there has been the Hanse Association, which is still legendary until today, also the patricians, that kind of interconnected whole Europe, yeah, from the Northern Sea until the Mediterranean areas. So a huge network of trade, of interconnections, transfer of goods, transfer of knowledge. All this increased immensely in the last air age. And even the tools they got to accelerate this development. One of them I've already mentioned in the last video. This was the shift from the Roman numbers, which are very complicated and difficult to calculate. Yeah, for example, big streams of wares. The shift from these Roman numbers to the Arabian numbers that also made trade much easier for everybody. And we also had a new currency, yeah, that was accepted in whole Europe. You can see it here, the gold ducat. Yeah, so for the very first time we had one currency that nearly everybody in whole Europe accepted, and of course also this accelerated international trade. Yeah, so also something that we can a bit delineate for the present times. Yeah, and then if we look at lifestyle, it was not just that more people went into the cities, they got more educated, alphabetization grew immensely. I've already mentioned in the last video, so more and more people were able to read and write, to participate in knowledge transfer. But there also were some very extreme lifestyle fashions. You can see it here, the Catarians, the Valdensians, the Humiliators. Yeah, all these Christian sects from the Middle Ages, from the last air age, they are kind of still a part of our modern language. Yeah, if you look at the word catharsis, for example, this comes from the Cartharsian sect 800 years ago. And what was their mentality? What was new for them? They said, we don't need any possession. The material world is bad. It's kind of a prison for our spirit. The body is the prison of the spirit, so we have to do everything to free our spirit from our body. And they had very extreme means. You can see it here: self-flagellation or extensive starving, yeah, or all these very, very extreme rituals to free their spirit from their body, to free their air from their earth. Yeah, so this is this development that we faced back then very, very much. And for the first time, there were not just material crimes like robbing somebody or murdering somebody or doing anything with matter, doing anything with material. There were even mental crimes. So right after the last air age started in 1215, for the first time the Inquisition was formed, was created. The Inquisition that tried to prosecute people with wrong thoughts, people that were blamed as being somehow in connection with negative demons or with Satan, with the devils, and they were prosecuted and they were hunted. So it was not just dangerous to make material crimes, to rob somebody, to steal something, to murder somebody, to hurt somebody. You could even get on the pyre, you could even get punished very, very much if you had the wrong thoughts. So also here, the focus of people shifted from the earth element to the air element. Yeah, and apart from that, we had all these new monasteries, these new groups within the Catholic Church that said, we don't want to have any possession. We are sufficient with ourselves and with praying, and we just wander through the countries. We spread the words of God, but we don't want to possess anything. So air age, many times in the extreme forms, also is a kind of reduction of matter in the focuses of our lives. Yeah, and if you look nowadays, if you look what already the last 10 years have started in this transition phase from earth to air, we also can see quite many fashions that go into this direction, like vegan lifestyle, or people that don't eat physical food anymore. They just take lots of pills with vitamins, with minerals, with all those things in there that the body needs to survive. But they say, okay, I'm not working hard anymore in the field. I don't need all these huge amounts of meat and of very heavy food. Food should be very light. Food should be something I sit the whole day on my computer, and food should not disturb my thoughts. Yeah, but of course I also want to get all these important vitamins and so forth. Yeah, up to this trend of tiny houses, for example, where people say, no, I want to reduct myself. I don't need a huge house and pay for many decades of my life for this huge house. A small house is sufficient because I spend most time of my life, of my days, in the mental sphere anyway, in the digital worlds or with communication, spending times outside. I don't need a big house anymore. Yeah, which is also very funny. I was a research fellow at the International Colleague for Humanities, yeah, the IKGF at the University of Erlangen, and we had a conference once, the ends of times, and this was kind of the history of apocalyptic prophecies. Yeah, so there is nothing older than the the history of apocalyptic narratives. And if you look back into the last air age, we had some figures, young, pale, thin women who just spent their whole days praying to God and spreading the word of God. For example, Margareta of Cortona or Margarete of Hungary. And even here we have a morphological similarity with all the climate movement, where we have another greater spreading the word of the true, of the honest lifestyle. Up until these huge arenas, in the old Earth Age, people tried to compete in the physical fields with their bodies. Now, in the new Air Age, also sports go into the mental spheres. Like here, for example, huge competitions in gaming, in online gaming. So people just sitting on their computer and competing with their immensely fast and furious reflexes. So it's kind of sports of the mind. And also here we will see that the next decades will bring an immense growth of these fields. So far the next step that we have here in the astrology of the Air Age. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all got a more concrete picture of what this shift from Earth to air is meaning for all of us, very, very concretely in our personal lives. Not just any abstract constellations up in the sky, but really changes in our personal lives. If you liked it, please go to my website astrologie.de/en for English, or you just can click on the upper left side on en for the English language. Very, very important. There you can find many articles and lectures and the future dossier with more information on the astrology of the Air Age. If you liked it, please stay tuned and click the abo button. The sooner we hit the 1,000 abos, the sooner I can switch off monetarization, so that we all can focus on what is really important and what really counts. And this is the wisdom of astrology. Thank you very much.